Sometimes your biggest leap is also your best training ground for your business and your marriage. And Jonny's back with me today, and we're going to talk about not our first business together, our first business we went into together, that we bought together, which is the Rock Adventure Cruise, as it's now known, rocktheboat.co.nz. So long ago. So we've nearly owned her 18 years. So
Is it 18 or 17?
We purchased the business on the 1st of December 2007.
Yep.
And quickly do the maths because I cannot. I believe that's 18 years. Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
18 years.
It'll be 18 years in, another month or so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
Oh. It's for the fingertips. So do you want to first give people a rundown about what the Rock is? Because some people have no concept. We talk about it.
Everyone knows what the Rock is, surely.
No. Well, maybe people that have listened for a little while, but some people might not have any idea. What is
Rock's epic. It is the way I summarize it would say it is a taster of growing up in New Zealand, particularly Northland. So it covers all the different aspects. If you're fortunate enough it covers all the different things you would do. Going snorkeling, swimming, maybe even at nighttime and seeing the phosphorescence, doing a spot of fishing, exploring islands, kayaking, whether it be kayaking, paddleboarding, play around different things in the water, just jumping around. And then the fact that it's tied into an overnight is the fact that basically you get to see the bay when nobody else is around. Everyone's gone, day trippers come and go, they all leave the bay and we have it to ourselves. And again, in the morning, you get to wake up there. And it's peaceful. And the fact that I think it doesn't matter where, even if you've done it before, all the different activities, so few people actually sleep on the water. And that's what I love about it. They go and experience islands, they go on adventures, but they don't go to bed on the water and just get to really, really feel it and then wake up on the water and you've still got a whole day. I think that's the real uniqueness of it. So few people, and I know plenty of Kiwis that have fished more, snorkeled more, kayak more. Literally, it's in their blood, but they've never slept on the water.
Yeah, and I think it's the sunset and the sunrise, the stars, the Milky Way, things that we just take for absolute granted as New Zealanders growing up in New Zealand, the water being so accessible.
Yeah.
And
away from big city lights.
And away from the light pollution is just, it's kind of, you take it for granted. So that's the Rock. We've been doing it for 18 years. We bought an existing business off the previous owners.
Yeah.
The primary experience is a 22-hour overnight cruise that leaves Pai here at 5 p.m, comes back in the following day at 3. We include all the meals, there's accommodation on board, all your activities, and our skipper and crew take care of everything.
Even the washing up.
Even the washing up. Even the washing up. Let's talk about, how did we first hear? Like, how did we find out about the boat being for sale? How did we end up buying it? What was the journey that we went on?
Well, we were on the boat. Yeah. We'd gone for a cruise.
Yes, we'd gone back for Katie's wedding.
Yes.
And Dad said, hey, you should take Jonny out, go and see what they do with the overnight cruise, go on the Rock.
Yeah.
Because we had the kayaking business in Thailand.
Yep. And we were looking, you're right. We were looking for ways to expand the business we had in Thailand. And I even brought it up with Pete saying, how have you done all this? Like, what's worked, what hasn't worked? Great concept. I would love to do something like this in Thailand, because we didn't have a mothership. We didn't have anywhere where people would sleep. We just camped on beaches and the rest of it. So ours was probably more adventurous, as some people we put off. They're not going to want to sleep with snakes, lizards, spiders, scorpions, all kinds of different kind of like coconut hermit crabs and the rest of it on beaches. So we were trying to, that's right, good memory. We were trying to expand it so we might have a mothership that went alongside it. So we picked his brains, as in, this is just an epic concept. I'd love to run something like this in Thailand. And that's how the conversation all kind of went.
Yeah, so we had the kayaking business in Paina Bay, sending people off on adventures up to,
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the things that will be familiar to people will be like James Bond Island.
Yes.
That sort of landscape.
Koh Hong, James Bond Island. Yeah, all of those. The mangroves.
Yeah, and then as far south as just about Malaysia.
Yes.
Some of them. So down to Koh
Lipe. Yeah, almost to Langkawi.
Yeah, so we did all these. We didn't do them. Lots of people did these epic adventures. We did a number of adventures, but people did these adventures, and we thought, this will be a great way to expand this to someone who's not happy in a hammock under a mosquito net.
Yeah, so you can still explore, kayak, deserted islands, beaches, stretches of coastline that no one's been to, but at night you'd have a little bit more comfort. Or at least if you went, you know what, I don't want to kayak for hours and hours and hours, I can go over to the mothership and catch up with the rest of the more adventurous people, the rest of the family that are more adventurous at a later point. Yeah.
And so that was the intention we went on the boat with.
Totally.
He was still operating exactly the way it is today. So we were on the overnight cruise. We were in a shared dorm, I think.
You were in a shared dorm. We were in cabin A is what we call it now. I still remember it. Was it A or B? No, B. Cabin B.
You wouldn't have fit in A.
I wouldn't have fit in an A because it's the only room that's got two shorter bunks, and they're probably about, what are they? Good for people who are 5'8". Yeah.
Short.
You'd be fine.
I'd be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. So we went on the boat. Mm-hmm. Like one cool experience to do in New Zealand because
epic.
Your
you were showcasing all that New Zealand had to offer, and it really is, as I've just said before, it's just a taster of everything. So it was great just to go, this is Northland, and literally get to tick all the boxes and do all the kind of fun stuff and have a sample of what everyone does up in Northland. And some people do further south, but I like water.
Yeah. So we went on the boat, went on the cruise, had a great time. Yep. I'm pretty sure we had a notebook and pen and we were taking notes on... I just had this distinct memory of being upstairs taking notes about what was working and what wasn't, what we could do in Thailand. And
what we thought would work well in Thailand. Yeah.
And then at dinner, picking the brains of Pete.
Of Pete at the time.
Around the cruise and the experience.
And we were really open. We said, look, we basically want to steal these amazing epic ideas and go and do a similar thing, or we told him exactly what our ideas were, but in Thailand. And I'm sure that's when he said, I'm the end of my ideas, but I've taken this and built it as much as I can, and I'm looking to basically pass it on to somebody else. I'm sure that's how it went.
Yeah, I think the story was actually that they bought the island in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Near Lombok.
Correct. Yeah.
Turtle sanctuary, whole lot of stuff that.
And he had a whole bunch of ideas and stuff to do.
And so he wanted to spend more time doing that, less time cruising.
Yeah.
And was thinking about putting the boat on the market. Did we know anyone that would be interested in buying the business?
Yeah.
And at that point, I went, we would. No conversation, zero conversation. I was just like, that's a good idea. We could do that. We'd come back to New Zealand, live on the boat.
I suddenly went, are you wealthy? Because I've got loose change in my bank account.
We had no money.
Literally no money. I think if we'd have scrapped assets together and we had a couple of thousand together, I mean, literally we were just running along, literally just running
Jonny
along.
Was like,
I was shocked. I remember thinking, I mentally picture myself kicking you under the table in a kind of jokey fashion. It was more just, I think my face dropped as in like, you went, we'll buy it, or I went, with what? That was my thoughts in my head.
You didn't express that out.
No, I didn't express it out loud, but in my head I was like, what?
Yeah.
Great idea, but what?
Yeah. And Pete said, well, if you're interested, do you want to sit down and chat about some numbers? And I went, okay, cool. What time after the cruise? Got off the cruise at the end of the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I must have met him. Did we meet him at Frank's? And have a chat? We met him in Frank's.
It was Frank's, yes.
And we had a
on the waterfront.
Beer. Yeah, and we had a cold beer.
It's not Frank's anymore, but Frank's, we had a cold beer. I think he had a coffee. He did like his bowls of coffee. He might have had a coffee rather than a beer. I can't remember. But yeah.
And we chatted. Yeah. And we chatted numbers. And we talked about, what worked and what wasn't working and what the numbers looked like and what he'd be looking to buy it.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's very cool. And we were very excited about it. And then we drove back to Auckland to see my folks.
We might have stayed. Did we stay another night? I can't remember. No, I think.
Excited by all the possibilities, right?
Well, totally.
Many conversations and then crickets.
Yeah.
absolute and utter crickets. I don't even know if we swapped details with Pete.
I think we swapped details, and there was a little bit of conversation, and then it just went quiet. But what time of the year was it? That would have been in the. Was it right at the end? Was it April?
It was April. It was right at the end of their season.
Yeah, must have been. Yeah.
So, and then nothing. And we went back to England for 6 months.
Yep, England.
We went first, and then I came after when my visa came through.
That's right. Wasn't much long. Yeah.
And worked for.
It was in 5 months. 5 months. We were there for 5 months total. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then during that time, I popped back to New Zealand for Mum's 50th.
That's correct.
When I got back, there was a letter from Pete saying, I want to sell it. Here's how I want to sell it. He was expressly clear on how it was going to go down.
Yeah.
Here's how much money I can leave in it for vendor finance. Here's how much we'll need to finance. All the numbers, all the details. And so we just took that information and we started doing due diligence. And you were still in the with what kind of camp?
Yeah, like how? Like we're just going to teleport some money, like just go like abracadabra.
What were they thinking? So just for context, we're having these conversations in the September and October and November of 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What we didn't know was coming.
What was around the corner
was GFC, which hit New Zealand pretty strongly in February, March, April 2008.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that kind of, we went, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
But I don't even remember it being a challenge at the time. It was almost like with the GFC, people are disillusioned. Maybe the more discerning traveler or the slightly older ones rather than real young backpackers, but people that went, you know what, I'm up for a career break. I've had enough of this. I just want to do something different. And I've always wanted to go to wherever. And they started traveling. And even though there was the GFC and it was all, you know, all doom and gloom, I think it activated a lot of people to go traveling and go do stuff.
Do you know what I actually think happened for us? Is that we were so disconnected from the noise. So when we bought the boat, we did not have 2 pennies to rub together. Like
I had porridge every day for so long.
We ate leftovers.
I wasn't very good at fishing back then.
We ate leftovers. Like we ate the leftovers.
Yeah, the leftover. There was sausages or tenderized beef they were using back in those days for the barbecue. We ate a lot of tenderized beef and a lot of sausages and a lot of pasta salad, potatoes, porridge. We got creative with the porridge. We used to make cookies out of the porridge.
That was not good. They were not good. So we managed to pull it together. We convinced the bank to lend us the money. Pete and Stace left some vendor finance in, which we paid back in those first 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we dove into it and we got on with it.
I think you're right. The fact that we were completely oblivious to what was going on in the outside world, and so much of what it is. I mean, you look at Instagram, Facebook, the rest of people are comparing, they're taking on board the energy of everything else that's out there. If you're completely unaware of it, it's not actually happening.
Yeah, because perception becomes reality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think out of ignorance and arrogance, really, if we're really honest back then. Yeah, truthfully. Ignorance and arrogance. I was 24, nearly 25.
I must have been like 26 then.
No. He was a decade older. He's always been a decade older. That will never change. We were in our mid-20s and mid-30s.
Yep.
Knew nothing about running businesses, or very little. Like what I'd grown up with, what you'd learned running a business in Thailand, which of course is incredibly helpful and was incredibly helpful. We've both
completely different scale though.
We've both got degrees that have business in them, which helped zero amount in both of these journeys.
Pointless.
And it was just in and get it done.
Totally.
We shared the cabin with Pete. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we did.
So
whenever we were cruising.
The purchase agreement was that he got the double bed and you and I
got the bunk.
beds. Because we needed Pete on the boat until Jonny got his skippers signed off.
Until I got signed off, which was going to take a certain number of CRs that they would recognise and the rest of it, and then tick a couple of boxes. So I can't remember when we did that, but that was pretty much the whole season, right?
And so we lived on board, ate on board, did everything on board. We had the odd occasion where we'd go and stay in town in a hotel room or a motel room to have a shower and
Live it up very
live it up a
occasionally,
little
yeah.
bit. But we literally lived on the bones of our ass those first 6 months. And I think the truth is we were successful then because we did not tune into any of that. Facebook, Instagram, these phones weren't even a thing back then.
Was there even Facebook in 2007?
Yes, there was.
There was, but it wasn't prolific in the same way that...
Well, yeah, because it didn't live in your pocket. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when the iPhone came out, but we certainly weren't walking around with iPhones. I don't believe.
Not smartphones at that point, definitely.
You definitely couldn't afford iPhones at that point. So we were in this world where we were just all in on the business, and there was just
head down, bum up.
Yeah, there was no other choice but to make it work. We weren't reading the newspaper or watching the news. We didn't have power on the boat. We had a generator that we ran.
A couple of hours each night, that was it. Yep.
So we just literally had our experience. And so we were just focused on what we were doing and that we were going to make it work and it was going to be this massive success and we were going to grow it. There was no other perception for us to have.
No. It was 100%. That was the belief. What's the goal? At it. Yeah.
And we just did not, in those first couple of years, we did not stray from that. I remember the moteliers when you'd go around and drop the brochures off and that one miserable git.
I remember the motel name. I remember his name.
He was an Englishman, just like
he was English, yes. But anyway, a little bit older. He'd have been about my age now, I'm guessing. Back then, I would have thought. Yeah, and he said, we introduced ourselves. We said what we bought or the rest of it. And he went, oh. And I still remember he said, well, you're only young. If you fall flat on your face, I suppose you've got time to bounce back.
I don't even think he said flat on your face. I think he said if you go bankrupt.
Yeah, bankrupt, flat on your face, whichever it was. He was just so and I laughed thinking he was just being jovial and he was just deadpan. Really thought, well, you don't stand a chance. You're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to go bankrupt. But I guess you guys are only young. That's okay. You can bounce back. And we just walked out. I remember this still was shocked now going, what was that? What was that? Yeah, and laughed. We left him some brochures, some flyers, and just went on to the next place and just giggled about it. Literally like school kids. We actually thought it was funny.
Yeah, and when we look back now and we look at how many of those businesses in that town, you think about the retail stores down Main Street in Pie Hill were empty.
Yep.
There were houses that sat on the market for years. And we got some good rentals because there were houses that sat on the market for years and years and years and years.
Yep. Because people have that mentality.
Yeah. And so I talk to my clients about this one all the time, is that we did that out of, like I say, ignorance and arrogance. We thought we knew better. We weren't plugged in the way that you're plugged in now in 2025.
But it was a factor. It really was a factor in the success of it. It really was the fact that we weren't listening to all the noise. We weren't detracting from it. Because if you listen to the noise, you stop doing what you need to do. We were just doing what we needed to do. That was it. Yeah. Don't spend a lot of money. Live really cheap. Insanely cheap. Yeah. and get down to business. And that was it. And just get bums on seats, get people on the boat, make sure people had an amazing time, then proliferated. Yeah. It didn't make us say yes so fast.
Well, I think it felt really fast.
You said faster than I did. You were instant, but then you always make decisions quickly, whereas I always go, just mull over a few things. We definitely process differently.
We said yes really fast. It was a really drawn out process. So it was more like we discussed it and then there was a 6-month gap and then the offer to hey, please buy it and this is the situation. And then from then to when we actually owned it was only about 6 or 8 weeks. That was really fast.
That was really quick.
That was really fast.
But we were both, when he came up with the offer as it were, we said yes to it very quickly.
Yeah, we did.
We were both on the same page. Yes, this is great. Both still super excited about it.
Yeah, we could make this work. Yeah. What was it about it that made us think we're so excited about this and it was a yes? Because you got to remember, we were still living in Thailand.
Yeah.
On a beach in a bamboo bungalow.
Yeah.
No power. 6 kayaks.
It was so similar in a way though when you look at it.
Yeah.
Limited power. was about to say, yeah, you could have a wash by house for me in the ocean, whereas we just used to have a wash with a cold bucket of water, but that was fine. But yeah, it was very similar in those ways. But I think down to the core of it is what we both loved doing. We both believed in it so much of doing all those cool things. And I grew up doing those cool things, going to the beach in the UK, go to the beach, collecting shellfish, cockles, all the rest of it, learning how to cook them up, swimming in the surf, those kind of things. So it was both our kind of childhoods of what we both enjoyed doing. There's a selection of those things. I hadn't quite that much until I was older, but those elements of it. So we both believed in the product so much that when he said, yep, this is what's on, it was a no-brainer for me to go, yep, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing as well, our other option at the time, we were still trying to kind of work out how to scale the business in Thailand, and being in another country, the way the business was set up there was a few other challenges where we hadn't put all the pieces together. We could understand how this one was going to work.
We could. And for me, it was home.
Yeah. That was a big draw card for you.
Yeah, it was back to New Zealand where I thought I wanted to raise my family, and
we did for a while.
Life, which we did for a while. But back then, that was the driving force. Like,
yes.
if we were going to be together.
Yeah.
We were going to be together. We're going to have a family. We're going to build a business. Yeah. For me, I understood New Zealand well, and so that felt very comfortable. My family were there. You'd
even said, like, I'm happy living in Thailand until such time we have a child, and then I want to do that in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, you'd already made that pretty clear. So we always knew that was going to be what was going to happen. When we decided to have a family, we'd be going back to New Zealand. So when this came up, it was like, oh, well, it's just things are falling into place. Not that we were thinking about having a child at that point, but it was the fact that basically, well, the business is there, so we'll already be there. And yes, let's go for it.
Do you know something funny about the boat? I went out with my dad before I came to Thailand, which you knew about. Yep. I also took a friend out on it. And after we'd been out on the boat, we were back in Paihia at shall not be named backpacker bar with Danny, drinking way too much. And I said to her, I could run that boat. I'd be really good at running that boat. And she said, yes, you would be. You'd be great at running that boat. So I manifested it from before I even knew you existed. I was going to run that boat. It's funny, eh?
I think there's a lot of factors that I think your dad manifested it as well.
Yeah.
They always wanted you to go. They wanted you to come home to New Zealand.
Yeah.
He also loved the product and to see what was
he still does.
What was involved exactly. That's it. And hadn't experienced it. So I think at the same point he manifested it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So my first experience of the boat was going with my dad. So my dad was in his 50s and I was in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. My dad was in his late 40s. Anyway, that was my first experience of the boat. And Dad just loved it. I mean, Dad had the best time ever. And I had a great time. It's cool people. I think what helped me say yes really quickly was the type of traveller it attracted. Didn't attract tourists. It attracted people that genuinely wanted to have a New Zealand experience, that genuinely wanted to see what does this part of New Zealand really look like.
Yeah, not super polished in a flash hotel with food that's made that could be anywhere in the world. It's real.
It feels like real New Zealand, right? And crew were cool. Like, there was just so many factors that made it really fantastic. What also for me, I think helped me say yes really quickly was the product, the experience was epic. The business had so many places where I was like, we could do this. Like, we were still writing bookings in a book. The website was, oh God, if we went into the Wayback Machine now, the website was so cringe. And you just finished building the kayaking one. And so even you were like, I can do better than that. Yeah, right? Like, so there was also lots of blue sky that we could see, lots of potential.
Things were done differently back then.
Yeah, for sure. They hadn't taken advantage or jumped on technology as it had come live. No. And so we could see there were some opportunities there for us to do that very quickly.
And it didn't take long to go from a paper and pen. I'm still laughing at it now. All that scribbling out was like restaurants still do it for their tables. There's a 6:30 seating. Oh no, cross out the greeners. They'll be coming in at 7:30 now, and they've added 2 people on that and shuffling around that. I'm trying to run the cruise from that book and flip back through the pages. Who booked in 3 days ago? The
handwritten load sheet.
Yep.
Handwritten
everything.
Room, everything.
Yeah, amazing.
So when we look back, Did we do any due diligence?
I think we thought we did.
Oh, I feel like we really did. Talk me through what you think we did. I have this memory of hours of crunching numbers and pulling proposals together for the bank, sitting in your parents' office in England, because we were in England.
I was about to say, I remember poring over any records they had, which when you look at it, though, I mean, I laugh, I don't think we did any, because the due diligence there was all pieces of paper. That's all you could do back then, I suppose. There was nothing.
We've been on the boat.
We've been on the boat. We'd chatted to plenty of other people about it. We'd seen real life and heard other people talking about it and whether word of mouth works and all the rest of it.
And someone go through the boat, look at the engines.
Yeah, look at the engine and the rest of it. All the finances will let you just total trust.
What was there on the
Really, what was total trust? Like
what was there, matched up to GST returns,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and what they shared with us. But there were some big red flags that we didn't spot. Right? When you look back now.
I know the biggest one.
What's that?
The crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. All volunteer. Well, actually, all but one. Yeah. All but one was volunteer, which was epic. No one was being misled in any way, but they were all volunteers. All of them were volunteers, which we hadn't really budgeted for or looked into. And I don't know how we managed to miss it.
Yeah, I don't either. I look back at it now and go, there was some wages in the account.
Yeah, there was some wages in the accounts, but
near enough.
Nothing that was going to add up to if everyone was paid. So yeah, that one went, which is
and they never hid that. They never said they're not paid, and that would have all been disclosed in the information that we had.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just never, the penny never dropped with us, where it was like, hang on a second, that's going to be a compliance issue pretty quickly.
Yeah. Going forward and doing the right thing for us was what we wanted. Yeah. But everyone loved working for free, loved the opportunity. It was, they lived and breathed it, and it was great. But we definitely missed that one.
Yeah, that would be the big one. And I also think there were like things you couldn't know because you didn't know enough to even ask. Like, we knew that the maintenance was going to cost X amount, but we didn't look at and we asked like the big questions. What's going to need replacing in the next year, 3 years, 5 years? What's the big maintenance? Like, we asked all those questions, but there were just little things that you couldn't possibly know until you got on the boat and started working on the boat, and you're like, and this is what I really do say with clients when you're doing due diligence, because we've bought 1, 2, 3. We've bought 3 businesses. We've looked at a number of others that we've looked at and gone through the due diligence process and not bought it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through the due diligence process of selling a number of businesses, and with the best will in the world, you're gonna miss stuff.
100%. And that's not that somebody's hiding something from you or not declared it. People will put down as much information as minimum what you asked for, most times more than what you've asked for, and are completely open. But I don't think you can. There's no way, unless you run the exact same business and you know exactly what needs to be done, like a franchise or something, you're going to miss stuff.
You're going to miss stuff. And I think it's the understanding that you gather as much as you can, check as much as you can, make sure there's no big dramas, like for us it was like valuations and, hull surveys and those same things we're going
rotations,
through now with the boat being back on the market and people looking at buying it. We're going through the same process with other people, and there was still stuff that when we got there, we were like, oh, we didn't know. Oh, we hadn't realised that. Oh, we missed that. We should have asked that question. We should have known that. And I think we did as much as we could at the time with what we knew. And if we went and did the same process now to buy a business, which we won't be doing, if we did, we would do different things. We'd ask different things. You'd
ask different questions.
We'd get different information. And do we regret buying it the way we did?
No.
Absolutely not.
There's you look at the trust side of it which I think you have to do with a business. Don't have to, but if you feel the honesty of the people you're buying it from and you trust in them, that's a big factor. And I still remember when they said, which wasn't written in the contract at all, but we'll help the boat is slipped every single year. And they said, we'll help you next year. And it was very much like, we will help you next year. Cool. So in my mind, that's help. Oh, you'll be on the end of a phone. Maybe you'll pop down and point a few things out. Not, we get the boat out of the water. The pair of them show up, overalls on, gloves on, goggles on, in there, and for 3-4 days straight, doing everything that needs to be done. No question about like, oh, that's a bit dirty. And I said, it helps. I'll direct you and do this. They were just in on it.
Yeah, Stace showed up with beautiful,
perfect nails.
Her perfect nails, her perfect hair. And when she
That's the only lady I've ever seen paint and not get paint on her hand. Like, that's just.
I was like, how is she going to? And she left at the end of the day looking immaculate again. I was like, I can't even keep my nails nice when I'm not doing that. Like, they showed up for us at every turn.
Yep.
So the next season, so the first season Pete did with us, the next season we were running it without.
Correct. Yeah.
And they were having their first New Year's Eve together, not working in a decade.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Probably more than a decade, but yeah, it was. And I had to call him.
And we called him.
Yeah.
Because we had water in the fuel tank.
Well, we didn't realize at the time. We had a challenge which we couldn't work out, couldn't track it down. And I broke eventually and went, I'll just call him. It's New Year's Eve, but I'll call him. And literally called, and he ran through a couple of quick things, pretty much what I'd done, and then went, okay, pick me up at the wharf. And did. Grabbed him from the wharf,
and
picked him up. And Stacey came on as well, that's right. Yeah, picked him up, they came on the boat. And it took us a while, and eventually we managed to work out what the challenge was. But there wasn't any question about, it's a year later, nothing to do with me, mate. It was just straight to it. We'll be down there, literally, give me 25 minutes, I'm not far away. Pick me up, and we'll come on over. And they did.
They just wanted us to win.
They wanted us to win just as so much as they had wanted to win and spread the story of the rock. They wanted us to do exactly the same with it. They really did. Yeah.
And I think that matters when you buy a business. Because we've done other ones where that has not been the case.
Oh, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. We've had both experiences. And so we can speak pretty confidently to both of them. And that by far and away has been the biggest thing that came out of that, was that Pete and Stace had our backs all the way through that purchase process, all the way through those early years. And a decade later, after we purchased it,
trying to think, would have been
more than a year.
It was 2018, 29. It was either 2018 or 2019.
It was 2018 when you had your first fall.
Yeah, and I had to get away for a doctor's appointment, whatever. Couldn't get a backup skipper, and was kind of stuck. And I rang Pete up, really just to ask him if he, because I knew there was a couple of people who knew anybody that's available that could run this cruise while I'm away. And he went, well, I'm in the country right now, because they were spending some time in Indonesia. He says, I'm in the country right now. What's the date? He went, that's cool. Okay, just need to meet on the boat. We'll just go over any changes. I'm going, just wait, you'll meet on the boat. And then he just followed up with a sentence like, so I'll run it, no problem. Yeah. And that was it. Just came on board, showed him what we changed, skipper familiarization, you call it, just to see if any processes had changed so we wouldn't have any challenges. And he just jumped on and did the cruise. It was great. Yeah.
And I think that there was the epitome of what you want to look for. If you're buying a business off someone who wants to see it continue, and again, this is something I talk about a lot, is like when you're designing your strategic plan, when you're being really clear about the vision for this business, it's whether you run it or someone else runs it. This is your desire that you see for this business to have it happen, and you're just going to make it, and you're going to help and support that in whatever way you can. Yeah. And they did. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So good. How did we split the roles in that first year?
How do we split the roles? I think at first, when we first jumped on, we both tried to do all of it.
Yes.
And just whatever. And it took, I don't know what period of time it was, that we just naturally kind of migrated into different roles. It was over weeks, I think.
Maybe even longer. I think it was the point at which we decided you were going to do your skipper's ticket and I was not.
Yeah, but I can't remember what point that was in that first season.
That first season, we really did try to do
both be able to do everything. So we'd both be able to drive the boat. We'd both be doing the hosting. We'd both be able to kind of manage everything that was going on. But when we split, I think it actually worked really well, because I focused on the operational side of running the boat, and almost in some ways it freed you at the time to get those systems nailed I mean, you think how quickly you got it out to trade, got some systems in to move away from paper, all those different things. And I think you have to just, doesn't matter who does what, but start to go, that's your role, and split it up a little bit.
I think the other thing that was good about that first season was that you and I were on the same page that we were going to do what we were told for the first 6 months.
Yep.
We were just
literally just went,
shut up and learn.
Yeah.
Which
not go like, why do you do it this way? Why do you do it that way? Well, actually, no, we did. Why is it done that way?
Yes.
But not like, I've got a new idea. Why don't you try this? Just literally observe, ask if it was something where you went, okay. So just take it on board, make a couple of notes.
Yeah. We changed nothing, not even the shitty sausages and the tender steak. We just did it exactly the same. We just soaked up a decade's worth of knowledge from Pete and Stace in every way, shape and form. And I think that's why the roles weren't divided clearly at the start, because we just went all in, how do we download as much from these two people as possible? Because minimal things were written down. What was required? There
was so much that was in Pete and Stacey's heads.
Yeah.
And they'd split the roles up completely, but there was so much in their heads that wasn't, and that was why it was verbal. Ask a question. What are we doing? All the rest of it. Yeah.
And I think we only started dividing roles when it got to the end of the season. So we did.
It was definitely after Christmas. It could well have been like February, and everything was going great guns. But then, and that's comfortable. The money's coming in nicely. There's plenty of guests going through, and I think it freed up the time to then start going, right, you're going to do the skipper's course. You're going to look after this.
Yeah, and then it got quite defined. And so at that point, I was like, marketing, systems, all the admin, all the
sales. Yeah, taking all the bookings, all that stuff.
We're still living on the boat though, so I'm still on every cruise.
Yep. I'm trying to think when we stepped off. Was that in the October next season?
When I stepped, we got a house the next season. We got a flat the next season.
Yeah.
So we did, first year we did on the boat.
It might have been in the February then. Like after Christmas? Was it before Christmas? I remember the address, I remember the place.
No, we did a whole year living on the boat. And then we got the house in the little place in Davis Crescent.
Davis Crescent, yeah.
Yeah. At that point, that's when we started to split up. Yeah. We were also, I might add, planning a wedding. It was very stressful when we moved house. So at this point, I now know it's ADHD and the anxiety response. At this point, I start having panic attacks.
Yeah.
Really bad ones. Mm-hmm. I had to get help.
Yep.
My perfectionist tendencies were off the charts. I was either all on or a puddle on the floor.
Yeah.
And we'd moved countries, bought a business, getting married, moved into the new little rental house.
Yeah.
All in 12 months. We were mental.
Don't do anything by half.
That was just mental. So, that was also one of the reasons that we split the roles, and the reason that I backed away from doing my skipper's ticket at that, because I was struggling with
there was way too much going on.
Yeah. That was the most pressure at that point in our relationship that we'd ever been in. Like up until that point.
We'd just been kind of like cruising along, doing a fun little business in Thailand, living on a beach in Thailand. Literally you just paid your rental. That was kind of it.
You didn't even
Very
have to
simple.
cook if you didn't want to.
No, you didn't have to cook. You didn't have to worry about laundry. And then whole hog into what was a lot of cogs turning, a lot of things going on. I think that's when we decided on different hats, and I think we definitely went the right direction. We moved into what was naturally our strength, areas of strength, really.
What did you learn about my strengths when that happened?
You amaze me what you can juggle. When I think of juggle, as in the finances, the money, who needs to be spoken to, what's got to be done here, all those different cogs that kind of move around there, and making sure they're all balanced, and so-and-so spoken to so-and-so, and somebody knows about this. That stuff you juggle really well. I don't know if juggle is the right word, but that's a definite strength in that area. You also, I think when we used to do the cruises, I didn't enjoy the public speaking side of it, whereas you maybe more practice. It's not that somebody's generally better at it, but you had a lot more practice at that point. But you were doing all the front of what's it there. I was doing all the one-to-one stuff, which generally speaking, I still kind of do now anyway. But that was something if I can, yeah, definitely. Which I learned to do that,
Yeah.
but at a slower pace for sure. Yeah. So what do you think were my strengths then?
You're like cool as a cucumber under pressure. I don't think up until we bought the boat that I'd ever seen you in a really stressful situation, ever. We maybe missed a flight, come close to missing a flight once.
Yeah.
On the way back from our liveaboard.
Yeah, I was about to say, even running the dive boats, pretty cruisy, really.
No, we had one little incident.
I don't think we were working on the boat at the same time, though.
You ruptured your spleen before we bought the boat, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So same thing then. So that's probably the only time I really had an inkling that you were cool and calm under pressure. I'd also discounted that it was very dramatic. I was like, dude's just got delayed concussion and now we're being dramatic about it. And it wasn't really until we got to that first year in business where I was like, it doesn't matter how much shit, and in some cases, literally, hitting the fan, that you were cool and calm.
Boats and that word. Oh.
Yeah. And I think, so yeah, it was your ability to just be calm. You are also the person that everyone just enjoys being. Like, you're the guy, you're the bartender in Cheers that, everybody knows your name and everybody wants to talk to you. You were like that in Thailand as well. That translated into the boat and to the business world really easily. Like, people just gravitated towards you really naturally. And that was such a huge strength. You still do it now. You don't even realize you do it. You're such a natural connector of people.
I always think I just ask people questions. I just find I'm always interested to know what people are doing. That's why
it makes you the most interesting person in the world, in the room, because you are interested in them. That makes you interesting to them and you resonate with people. You were definitely better with the crew and managing that stuff. I found that very personal, very emotional. Everything was a personal attack or a personal affront rather than just people being people. We didn't have any of the foundations. We had no vision, no purpose, no values. We just literally...
We would just get it done.
Get it done. We had no systems, no success map. We didn't plan our time in advance. Like, all the things that have evolved out of the disasters that we had and the hours that we worked exists now inside the Moxie movement as frameworks and structures that we probably should have had back then. Wouldn't have learnt what we learnt, right? And be where we are now. Everything that we do has evolved out of, either the journey with the rock or something else.
Yeah.
And I think I'm fast to learn stuff, like really fast.
That's what I mean. When I talk about the juggling, like if there's a new app or a new system, you read it once and it seems to sink in, which I find fascinating because I have to read something 2-3 times. You know what I mean? And actually be holding it and doing it most of the time. Except for not pressing the buttons, it's not going to sink in at all. And there's no point talking to me about it. No. Let me sit there and do it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Freaking kinesthetic learners.
We've got our skills.
So I think that was definitely like that shift was like, I'm the fast thinker, fast decision maker, lots of great ideas, moving at the speed of light, no concept of the things that can go wrong. Everything's upside.
Yeah.
And you are
blue sky, blue sky, blue sky. We do this.
Nothing's ever going to
I'm the guard.
I would call it the anchor. And so I would I would have a great idea, and you'd be like.
And I think that's why it works, though. You need that. If it was just me with the ideas, things would change at a very slow pace. Because I'd be calculating and be like, well, I'm just thinking, well, wait a minute. Not that it's negative, but I'm going to balance up everything. Yours is. Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, I don't know. I mean, I trained up a couple of people. I enjoyed watching them do it. But yeah, it's definitely a different way to go about it than the way you do. You're like, ooh, shiny things.
Yeah.
Like, you're a magpie.
I am a magpie. Total magpie. I love it. New things, great starter, terrible finisher.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Jonny,
But you need that on a team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's great for me to spot the opportunities and to have you spotting the holes in the opportunities.
Yeah.
And as we've got better at communication, we've talked about this in other episodes.
Yeah.
The communication has improved. So it no longer feels like you're pissing on my fireworks and more that you're like, oh, yeah, great idea. And have you thought about
and me going, just stop for a minute. So yeah, I moved away from going,
I'm not having a heart attack every time my wife comes up with another thing she can do. And we've just grown and evolved so much. Like, I think back to those people that bought that boat. Like, we're just lifetimes away from that.
it's incredible. How do we make it succeed? You know, we look back with when we went in there, really, really experience-wise, yes, we'd experienced like what comes out of it, but not experienced running that kind of stuff at all. I mean, you think all the skills we picked up on the way.
Yeah, I know way more about diesel engines than I ever thought I was going to need to know. Way more. About engines, full stop. I also know more about maintaining steel, paint systems, plumbing and electrics on boats. When was the moment you thought, oh God, this is harder than we thought it was going to be?
I'm trying to think. I think more harder as in more fatigue wise, the hours that we put into it. I think when you got into like running it in the height of the season and that fatigue that sets in because you are just literally on the go all the time. I mean, when people go, oh, I work a lot of hours, I've done 20 hours overtime, and you go, you did 60 hours. I've done that in 3 or 4 days. And people go, you can't do that many hours in a day. And it's like, you can. You can wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and technically be working right the way through to 1 o'clock in the morning. And then go to sleep. And then get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, bam, you are on it again. With a couple of 20-minute breathers through the day. But even those breathers, you're still working. I think at that point, I don't think I'd envisaged how many hours were going into it and how that really, really kind of builds up. And when you're running a business, you've got all that stuff you're doing FaceTime, and then you've still got to do the other stuff because it doesn't just happen. No. Yeah. No,
and that was, I think, one of the deciding factors to splitting the role and me not being on the boat full time and needing somewhere to live off the boat to get a break.
You could literally, step away from it. Yeah.
We literally lived and breathed it and ate it. Like, we just like the whole thing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We probably had about 10 nights off the boat and that would include going to visit family, friends, doing all that kind of stuff. Literally,
minimal.
Very rare. So no, that would be me thinking that was the bit for me, was just the amount of hours that were in on it and the fact that basically it never stopped. And a lot of that was because there was no systems in place then.
Yeah.
You literally just went, right, I've done that. Right, now I've got to open the book up and do all the other side of it.
Yeah.
So getting all that lot systemized made a massive difference.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah. I think for me was when the tax bill came in that first year. Because I'd studied as an accountant. I'd worked as an accountant. And I had not ever put the fact that our first tax season, we would only have 4 months of peak season.
Yeah.
Where the income is cranking, which was done intentionally so that our cash flow would be good. The expenses would be minimal. That meant that first year in business, we were smacked with provisional and terminal tax in the company and personally, right at the time where we were like, there's no freaking money. And we've got to have $50,000 aside-ish to get through winter and
maintenance, winter, just getting by,
And I was like, I have not thought this through. So we paid down a huge amount of debt that first summer.
Yeah.
And so that was amazing because I talk about this a lot. We paid about $250,000 off in that first 6 months, which was a great idea. But that was the tax money.
Yeah.
at least a third of that was the tax that we had to pay next
Should have been put aside. Would have saved a few headaches.
So that was the moment where I was like, oh my God, this is harder than I think. And it's just because you didn't know what you didn't know and you didn't think far enough into the future. And I talk about it a lot now, is that you've got to run two businesses, the business you're in today and the business you want to be in the future. And I think that shift, and that definitely didn't happen for like probably not until 10 years of running the business. Until you get that shift, you're not looking forward enough. It's one of the things I talk about. You don't have a crystal ball, but if you stop and look forward and go, what are we attempting to do in the next 12 months or 3 years? And what are all the things that potentially will slow us down or trip us up? You can address them as we're going on that journey. That one was one of the ones where I was like, oh. Because when I say we had no money and we lived on the boat, like we had no money and we lived on the boat, and every penny that we got that was extra had paid down debt. We hadn't thought about cash flowing winter where there was minimal income or cash flowing tax bills. So that was the moment that I went, oh, this is harder than I thought. And then I think the next moment was, for me, was when the compliance really started racking up in tourism boats.
It was almost a slow but not so slow process. It was just when one moved, another one moved, then another one came in, and another one came in, another, and it just seemed to just...
Because we were excluded from so much as a conveyance. You had to have a liquor license, but because we were a boat, we didn't have to have a food control plan back then.
No.
And then that came in. Oh, well, you've got a liquor license, so you must have a food control plan. So there was another level of compliance then. We were already doing our maritime audits, and then, Then
they split surveyors and maritime up, so that effectively it was one encompassing thing, then maritime and the surveyor, and sure enough, the bill just doubled. And it wasn't an insignificant bill.
And nothing got any better.
No, nothing actually. You just spoke to two different people.
Yeah. And then we were looking to going to trade and being part of things.
Investment for that was large.
New Zealand and Northland.
That was worth it though.
It was absolutely worth it.
That was
Qualmark. Yeah. And then off the back of that came
conservation,
dock concessions. And so it's a highly compliant business that we're in across so many different industries. And the dollar figures we spend on fees and licenses with government agencies or local councils is, high, really high for a business of its size. So I think that was probably the other point at which I was like, this is harder than I thought, versus other businesses that we've owned and been a part of where there was, pay your tax. Like there was no compliance involved at all.
Yeah.
If you could go back now and tell December 2007 Jonny something, what would it be?
You're going to love the ride. It's not all been perfect, but you look at what what we've learned in that business because of our business, and still now what we love doing with it.
Yeah.
Then that's it. You got to enjoy the ride. I think that's kind of, that's it. You learn loads. You're going to learn so much from it. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be exhausted, but hell, you're going to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd go back and tell Jonny in December 2007, she's always right. 99.9% of the time, she's going to be right.
You get more than 50, but I ain't going anywhere near that.
There's no final destination. You never get it done. You never finished. You're always on the journey.
No, that's it. Nothing's perfect, so it's never going to be perfect. Because whatever, even if you make everything perfect in your mind's eye, the moment it's there, you're going to move the goalposts. But now there's this, or now there's that, or I want to do that. Okay, cool. Right, now we're going to do this, and we're going to build that up.
Yeah. So I'd go back and tell December 2007, Sarah, who, not how. who, not how. Because I think of the number of things I did in those first 5-6 years where I was like, how do I do it? Learn it and figure it out, which was a waste of my time and energy when I could have asked the right people and got the answers. We didn't pay ourselves for so long. So long. And then we finally got to paying ourselves.
Am I paying that?
That's what I was going to say. And then we finally got to paying ourselves and COVID happened.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
We finally was like, oh, we've got this figured out and we're going to make this work now. And then COVID happened and then we definitely did not pay ourselves.
No.
So that profit first, you know, what do you need to earn as a market salary for the people doing
right
the work
from the
in
beginning?
Business, and that there needs to be a profit as well as paying yourselves. Otherwise, you're not charging enough. The business model doesn't work from day one. I think that has to be the conversation. When people ask me, how do you price it? You know, how do you calculate the costs and stuff to do your prices? I'm like, one of the fixed costs has to be how much profit do you want to make this year and your market salary. Oh, but I'm not paying myself market salary. I don't care. It has to be that because
Got to put it in.
when you started breaking and we had to pay someone a market salary, all of a sudden we had to reassess where that business was at, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We'd misjudged it, I think, because we hadn't valued the amount of time, effort that we were putting into it on both sides of it.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why when it happened to me and we had to do that bit, we went, oh, wait a minute, but there's you as well. What else needs to be done?
It's been a ride. That cruise has been a ride. Sharing that cabin on the phone. What were we thinking?
Man. In the bunks. You had the top bunk, I had the lower bunk, and Pete had the double bed. Oh, wow. We should have just taken the cabin out. As in, But then we were on capacity. Like, you think we were pumping it. It was just fill the boat.
For a short period of time.
Very short period of time. Yeah. But it was just,
Wow.
Get it done.
I freaking enjoyed that. And so I think what looked like a big risk from the outside and what you felt like was a big risk, because you're like, with what money?
Oh, yeah, totally. I'd never thought about borrowing that amount of money. The only time I thought about that amount of money is that I'd seen or experienced from my background was when people bought a house.
Well, not even then. The houses were so much cheaper back then.
True, but I could understand people borrowing a huge amount of money for a house. And effectively, yes, there's risk involved, but I could get my head around that. I'd never borrow a huge amount of money for a business. And that was my bit where I'm going, whoa, like, even if we can do it, is that the right thing to do? Yeah?
Yeah. So I think taking those big risks together in business are totally survivable. And not just survivable, but thrivable. That's a terrible word. That's awful. But we didn't just survive. We had a shit ton of fun on this journey together.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, there is significantly more good days than bad days. Significantly more magic moments than moments where you thought, I'm not doing this anymore. Way, way more. And so those big risks pay off when you're both all in. Even though you're all in for slightly different reasons, we were both all in.
Yeah.
And we both believed
we were going to make a success of it. That was it.
We were going to make it work. There was just never a question. I had more questions now about whether we're going to make it than I did back then.
But yeah, exactly. That's it. It was just a case of you just got it done. But maybe that's the fact of part of it. We were so busy just doing it. There was no question about what needed to be done. It was like, right, dun, 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 dun. End result.
Yeah. And I do think ignorance and arrogance.
Yeah.
We were so blinders on, focused on the end goal, there was just no other option. We were all in. Till next time, stay moxie.